Hi, everybody, and we're back. Fred's Healthy Cooking Kitchen is back after a brief hiatus because my refrigerator broke and I didn't have anything to put my cooked food into. So we are going to make something called shawarma. This is very similar to a gyro, spelled Gyro. It takes a long time to figure out how to pronounce it. We called it gyro for a long time, so it's gyro. And we're going to use chicken instead of cooking, as my friend called it, lamb spam on a doner. A doner is a type of vertical cooking mechanism. You usually hang a leg of goat or lamb in there and you spice it all up with all sorts of good things like coriander and cumin and curry and garlic and onion and all sorts of flavorful spices from the Mediterranean area. What we're going to do today, since I don't have coriander or cumin, I'm going to wing it. We're going to use a little bit of Worcestershire sauce to give it a little bit of flavor. We're going to use the spices that I'm going to show you in a moment to mix them together in the proper order and amounts. And then we're going to take our chicken fillets, which are very thinly sliced. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil on them. We're going to go ahead and then dredge them through the spices. And then we're going to grill them instead of fry or bake them. You can bake them, but it might come out dry. But if you grill them, you got a good chance of keeping a nice, moist chicken fillet. We're going to be using a whole grain pita bread, which in shawarma, you cut it in half and split it open. If you're going to use it to make a gyro, you just leave it in one piece. And we're going to have some lettuce and tomato and onion with it. And then we're going to make our own tzatziki sauce using no-fat yogurt, Greek yogurt, a little bit of Splenda, and some dill weed and garlic. So we're in for a garlicky adventure, people. Keep your mints handy and keep some low-fat or zero-fat ice cream and no sugar ice cream ready, because here we go. Okay, folks, as advertised, we have garlic powder, we have onion powder, we have chili powder, we have curry powder. We're just missing the coriander and the cumin, but we're going to use the Worcestershire sauce in substitute for that. That'll give it a little bit of a tang to it, and we're going to use a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, we're going to go with 2 teaspoons. I have a teaspoon here from the drawer. I don't have a measuring teaspoon, but if you have a measuring spoon, that's great. Mine have seemed to have disappeared. So we're going to use half of one of those spoons of garlic, onion, chili powder, and 1 of curry. We have fresh, thin sliced chicken breasts. Okay, folks, so we're going to start warming up our cast iron skillet with the grill in it. And we're going to mix our stuff together and get it ready. That way the pan is nice and hot and we can start grilling right away instead of waiting for it to come up to temperature. Always remember to treat your pans with Pam or a little bit of rub down from olive oil to make them non-stick. Pam, and we're going to spray this pan with it. And we're going to go ahead and this is what our spice mix looks like before you mix it up. It's got the pepper and chili, and it's got all the other good things in there. The curry powder and the chili powder, garlic and onion and pepper. So, okay, we've got that mixed up pretty good. We're going to go ahead and drizzle a little bit of olive oil and soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and lemon juice on our chicken. Okay, so we have our chicken with the oil and the Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of lemon juice because we're not using salt, people. Remember, low sodium, light eating. This is very good for you. We're going to just dip it in here a little bit, just enough to coat the chicken a bit. And we're going to throw it into our grill pan and let her cook, pal. Yeah, it's a good way to do things. Grilling, better than deep frying. You're just going to mash it around in there and get all those wonderful spices together. and then stick it in your grill pan. Okay, so now that we have our chicken in the grill pan grilling and getting all happy with the spices, we're going to go ahead and make our tzatziki sauce out of no-fat yogurt and Splenda and dillweed. Tastes very similar to what I picked up at a little restaurant in Delaware that specializes in Middle Eastern cooking. I'd like to thank them for the years of wonderful food that I've had there. But hey, you know what? Can't have that salt, pal. It's great stuff if you can tolerate it. So for the rest of us who are trying to eat healthy and lose weight and become cardiac well, we're going to do it this way. Okay, so our tzatziki sauce, I'm using Oikos Greek-style yogurt, 0 fat, and we're using McCormick dillweed. It's the only one I could find at the grocery store. Expensive, but okay, so we're using about half a cup of the yogurt. We're using probably about a teaspoon and a half of garlic, two teaspoons of Splenda, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of the dill wheat. Okay, so you can see we have our stuff mixed together. There's dill in there, you can see. And we're just going to let it sit for a little bit, let the tastes merge. And see if our facsimile thereof will pass test. You're going to want your skillet, the grill pan, to be about 3/4 of your, a little bit better than half of the dial that you have on your stove. That way you don't cook the chicken too quickly, because when it's done, we have to let it cool down a little bit. Then we're going to slice it real thin and put it in our pita sandwich. And then we're going to put the rest of the ingredients, the lettuce, tomato, and onion in there. And we're going to drizzle it off with some tzatziki sauce. Okay, so we've turned our chicken. Doesn't that look lovely with the grill marks on it? And it smells really good. It smells like a shish kebab barbecue of some sort. But hey, you know, these spices are pretty good, and they're jazzing things up a bit. Okay, folks, we have our tomato, our lettuce, and our onion. Remember, rinse your produce off. You never know what's been on it or in it, and it's always safer to do it that way. With the poultry, wash your hands a lot. If you're touching raw poultry or any type of raw meat, including fish, you need to keep washing your hands, people. It avoids you from getting sick. Okay, folks, we have our lettuce and tomato drying off over there. We rinsed off the onion too. He's dry. And we have our pita bread, which we're going to heat up. This one has a hole in it, so we're going to make it gyro style instead of shawarma style. Shawarma, you would cut it in half, open the pockets up, and then stuff it. It's basically the same thing, just served a different way. Okay, so the trick is to slice the onion very, very thin. You have to slice the tomatoes thin also, because you don't want it to overpower the flavor of the chicken that we're using for our shawarma, or gyro. So we're going to set these aside, and we're going to take out another cutting board. And when the chicken is finished, we're going to cut that very thin. And we're going to put everything in here with a little bit of our tzatziki sauce. And we'll see how it turns out. Our pieces of chicken. Have the other ones resting there in the pan. I have the tongs over there. Use the tongs, put them on there, and roll this thing around to make sure it was done, because you don't want to have raw poultry or undercooked. Okay, so here we have our very humble pita bread. You want to warm this up a little bit. We're going to use the microwave. Put it in there for about 15 seconds. And we're going to go ahead and let her rip so it's nice and supple, and we can get this thing made properly. Okay, our pita is nice and floppy. We're going to go ahead and start with the assembly. We're going to put a little bit of lettuce on as our base. Then we're going to put some chicken on, which we have cut into small pieces. Followed by a little bit of tomato. And a little bit of onion. Then we're going to use our wonderful tzatziki sauce. Take a nice big spoon of it, spread it on there like this. And it should be good to go. Well, there you have it, people. A gyro made the healthy way with chicken, no-fat yogurt as the basis for our tzatziki sauce instead of sour cream, with lettuce, tomato, and onion. Enjoy. I'll tell you what it tastes like in a moment. So I went ahead and tasted it. It's pretty good. It's not an unreasonable facsimile of a regular gyro. If you have other ways of wanting to spice it up, you can do that. Remember, this ain't your mama's kitchen. Do what you want. Play with your food, people. And always remember, life's a journey, not a destination. God bless you all. I'd like to give a little shout out to Willowdale Chapel for having in-person services again today. The Heaven Sent Food Pantry over in Oxford from the Oxford Church of God. And to my coach, Tose, my health coach. And to my buddy, Gabe, who I met at the gym. And we have a little competition with the arm bicycles to see how fast we can go. He said if I can prove to him that I can make a gyro that was healthy for you, that he would go ahead and try it. So, okay, Gabe, here we are. We've got it. Enjoy, buddy. God bless everybody. All right, folks. Little update. I dropped 2 pounds this week. Not a stellar performance, but I'm working on it. I gained 5 pounds over the holidays, sometimes 7. But it's been fluctuating. I've gotten down to 381 again from 385, which is pretty good for 2 weeks. They usually want you to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week to keep healthy. With this gyro, it's a healthy alternative to the ones you can get out at the store or you can get at the restaurant. You know what's in it, so it's your own design, folks. It's as healthy as you want it to be. Serve it with green beans on the side or some spinach. And you can also jazz up the spinach a little bit, put a little curry in it, or as my mom used to make it, put a little bit of vinegar, and she put a little breadcrumbs in there too, and served it with a boiled egg. That's the way they do it over in Holland. So anyway, there's a million and one things that can go with this. Rice pilaf, if you're not diabetic and you're allowed to have rice and salt and stuff. Let's just say that it's anything you want it to be, folks. Play with your food and stay healthy.